Heads will roll because of this war. Pete Hegseth is dead man walking because the man's just an embarrassment. The guy is, hyped up on, some sort of testosterone-induced cocaine substitute.
You guys all know Scott Ritter. He has insider knowledge. He's one of the most straight-shooting guys in American geopolitical space. He says it as it is and analyzes stuff in such a way that you're like, whoa, where has this guy been all my life? Why haven't I met him yet? And he went on Neymar show, and there was a particular part he just makes some really jaw-dropping claims that I believe we all need to see together. Before we get into it, guys, please subscribe to the channel.
Donald Trump's a political animal. And the game is survival. And, he needed Miriam Adelson to get elected. So he took her $200 million bribe and he staffed his team with all the people that Miriam Adelson liked, especially Marco Rubio and Secretary of State. She wanted him to be vice president. And this team, this golden team of Zionists, have humiliated Donald Trump, humiliated him. And this is a man who, is vindictive as the day is long. If his political legacy is on the line and the threat that exists that can, destroy this legacy comes from this very Zionistic enterprise that he is empowered with Miriam Adelson's money. He'll drop that in a heartbeat. There is no loyalty in Donald Trump, none whatsoever. He has no obligations. It's all about power. And I think you'll see that he's going to divorce himself from the Zionists as quick as possible. And anybody who peeps gets fired. Heads will roll because of this war. Just people need to understand that. And it won't be Donald Trump's head. Pete Hegseth is dead man walking. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen soon because the man's just an embarrassment. You saw his testimony for the United States.
To add to what Scott Ritter is saying here, he's absolutely right. Donald Trump is a very transactional person. He's a businessman after all. And if you guys follow me here, when Donald Trump started campaigning, he said, I will never take money from any lobby. I have money. I'm rich. I can finance my own campaign, which was what gave him kind of the political capital that he had with his base, which is the America First, to make America great again. Because the Republicans, grassroots, they've always been used to having this sort of person that caters to different factions. They have to say this at the right time so as to not stop the campaign money flowing to them. But Donald Trump was different. He was rich already, so he could finance himself. He pretty much financed himself for the first campaign that he ran. However, after coming into the White House and he was working with people like John Bolton and all these people that he couldn't really control, that didn't look up to him like that, he felt a bit short-handed, like he couldn't really do what he wanted to do because there were all these people around him he couldn't really control that were telling him how to do stuff. However, in the second time that he's coming in, he took money from, as Scott Ritter said, he took money from Miriam Adelson, all these different lobby groups that he said he would never take money from. As a result, it got beholden to them. Susie Wiles, who directed Netanyahu's campaign, is chief of staff. People like Hegseth that was speaking in Israel a couple years ago about how Israel is the motherland, blah, 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 and was saying we need to fight for Israel. That's the Secretary of War or Secretary of Defense. He's going to surround himself with people that have only one interest in mind, and that interest is not necessarily America first. And as it's going on, like this current war right now with Iran, it's not going great for Trump. And elections coming up in November, it's highly likely Democrats are going to take the House. And once they do, as I said, heads are going to roll. There's going to be so many subpoenas asking them what happened, what led to this war, how could we have avoided this. And Donald Trump is going to throw you under the bus in a heartbeat. That's who he is. That's what he's going to do.
The guy is, hyped up on some sort of testosterone-induced cocaine substitute. How dare he speak to the United States Senate the way he did? I wish I had been a senator because I would have leaped out of the seats and punched him dead in front of the world. I'd go to jail for that gladly because he's a disgrace, this Secretary of War.
Yeah, just like how he was quoting Samuel L. Jackson line in Pulp Fiction. He doesn't know the difference, because if he knows the difference, he wouldn't have said that. It was so serious. It was like, let's pray. I'm going to add a clip of him actually saying it word for word.
25:17, and it reads, and pray with me, please. The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides.
By the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men.
It's by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men.
Blessed is he who in the name of camaraderie and duty shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness.
Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness.
For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children.
for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance
and furious anger
and furious anger
those who attempt
to
capture and destroy my brother.
poison and destroy my brother.
And you
That's to just show you how crazy it is. We're in charge of the greatest military as we know in the world right now. You have an incompetent president, number one, and then we have someone that's proxying the war that is a fanatic.
You know, he doesn't have a right. He works for the American people, and he's up there arrogantly defending illegalities, and you know, and he's not smart. He's not a smart person at all. So his head will roll. I think Donald Trump's going to get rid of him as fast as possible. This will be Pete Hegseth's failure. Marco Rubio is a more difficult, you know, aspect. You know, he's a combined national security advisor, secretary of state. It might be time to pull Rubio in, and you know, relieve him of his national security advisor status, bring in somebody new, and leave Rubio with the secretary of state, because I think that the dual-hatted also helped get us involved in this war. You know, Scott Bessent, again, is a man who's just brought economic catastrophe. And he's also alienated the United States with China. And it may, you know, we'll see if Trump does have this meeting with Xi Jinping. I don't think Bessent comes out of this meeting looking very well. I think he's a humiliation to the United States. He's a detriment to Donald Trump's legacy. And we may see his head roll too. And now suddenly you're sort of in a Zionist-free zone. You've created a Zionist-free vacuum. And if you staff it with the right people, you're no longer doing Israel's bidding. And I think that's the direction we're heading. Donald Trump is a political animal. 60% of the United States population today views Israel as bad juju. 59%.
And that is true. Like, there was a recent poll that came out that actually just went across the board and see how many people actually support Israel. Before the war, there was more favorable reviews towards the Israelis than the Palestinians. And that's plainly just because they didn't know about it, and also the years and years of propaganda that's been fed to the Americans, me included as well. I heard, or I saw, like, the way the whole Western media just portrayed the October 7th attack. The whole world heard about it.
And I started thinking to myself, man, what did he do to make them niggas that mad?
From a neutral point of view, you're just like, whoa, what's this? What happened? What can justify this kind of violence against, say, a particular group of people? And also, mind you, like, you know, anti-Semitism came from Europe. These Arab Palestinian guys, they had nothing to do with all the thing Adolf Hitler did to Jews in Germany and so on, in Poland. They just came to this land and they started taking the land from them. And then we were fed with all this propaganda in the Western media, Schindler's List. You can see what I'm getting at here. But anyway, Palestinians now hold more favorable reviews in the eyes of Americans than the Israelis, because we've literally... That's why they saw TikTok, because TikTok was just showing everything in 4K, how Palestinians was getting butchered every single day. So it gets you to think, like, the only people now supporting Israel are people that have ties to Israel. The people that have a personal, like, they know someone from Israel, or they get making money from Israel, like, there's something. But a neutral observer looking at it was like, no, this isn't right.
Netanyahu is bad juju. These are unprecedented numbers. And it's only going to get worse. You know, the American people, unfortunately, we don't have a moral compass. I thought we did, but we don't, because we allowed genocide to take place, and we allowed this illegal war of aggression to take place. You know, the people aren't against the Iran war because it was the wrong thing to do or it was against the law. They're against it because we lost, and they're feeling the price of the pinch at the pump. You know, Bill Clinton knew this. That's why on his war room in 1992, they had the sticker, "It's the economy, stupid." It is or 1991. It is the economy, stupid. 92, I guess. Got to remember which the election year cycle. But that's what wakes America up. We don't have a moral compass. We just understand when it pinches us in the pocketbook. And right now, Israel is pinching us in the pocketbook. And so, goodbye, Israel. And I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a decoupling of the United States from Israel. I don't know how is this sustainable, because now it comes down to a question of how quick Israel collapses. I do think that Israel is going to be experiencing extreme economic difficulty in the not so distant future. and it's going to be so extreme as to promote depopulation. And as people flee Israel and go back to where they belong, which isn't Israel, it demographically becomes almost impossible to sustain the notion of a Jewish homeland. So that's what I think is the direction we're heading.
And just to add to his point, right now there's so many things happening in America, like just on the left, on the right aisle of America right now. A lot of people are just saying, for sure on the Democrat side, the next presidential candidate on the Democrat side will be someone that has disavowed Israel or taking any more kind of APAC or sees Israel as literally any other country that America has to deal with. If it's someone that's overly supportive of Israel, it's definitely not going to make the candidate list or the person that they're gonna. It's just gonna be primary, really. And also on the Republican side as well, there's gonna be that change. You've got people like Tucker Carlson, Carl Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Nick Fuentes. If all these figures in these two political sides, they've recognized one issue, and that issue is our support for Israel is not manageable. They can't keep going. They can't keep doing it anymore. But anyway, I'm eager to learn your thoughts. What do you think of this video that I just sent? What's your opinion? What do you think? Please drop a comment down below and just let me know what you think. And also, if you can subscribe, that would be great. It really helps me with these videos. Thank you.